So here's the thing. I was an advocate for the N95 mask. I was like, well, if everybody else is running around in 15s and 30s and face coverings, the N95s will prove to them that the masks don't work. So I ran around in N95s the whole time. And then when I went to the hospital sick, see, I had gotten sick more times that year, the masking. I had gotten sick 20 times, 21 times because of the mask. Truly. Before that, maybe get sick that year. You see what I mean? Like, since all this masking stuff, I haven't gotten sick. Except for this necrotic pneumonia, and I'm trying to heal from it. I haven't gotten COVID. I haven't gotten any flus or anything like that. I have a normal cold every once in a while. So, this necrotic pneumonia came from the pneumonia going onto the mask. And the hospital I went to, they had said that they only test for COVID. And I was like, well, you're a major hospital. You should be able to test for pneumonias, different types of pneumonias. And they're like, yes, but at this point in time, we are so full of COVID cases and COVID testing that we're not doing any other type of testing. And I'm like, but you have the testing stuff here, right? Yeah, we do. But you're not testing for it. No, we're doing all COVID testing. I'm like, well, that doesn't help my case. Well, that we can't help you out. And they walked out the door. And I'm like, okay. So then I go to work and then I get this. And then they were like, oh, where did you get this? It started with you guys. The hospital. Like, they're not wanting to do something. They're not wanting to actually take the steps to want to help a patient out. Made it way worse for that patient. So me getting this sickness, I got a necrotic pneumonia and it ate away my lung. And now I'm an advocate for not wearing masks because if you're sick with a pneumonia and you have a mask on, that pneumonia has the chance to come out in particles onto your mask and then necrotize, die, but still be somewhat alive. And then go back into your mouth through breathing air coming in and out. And then eats away your lung. And then it moves through your bloodstream into your heart. And that's what it did with me. And it started eating little bits of my heart. And it started giving me heart attacks. I had like 10 heart attacks in like, I don't know, 2 hours. Went to the hospital and it was a heart attack. 10 minutes later, another one. 10 minutes later, another one. The lady hooking me up to the, like to track your pulses from your heart. Like, she's like, you're having a heart attack. And they got me into the ER and then they couldn't figure out for like 3 days what it was. They were doing every test under the sun, and then they figured out it was a bacterial pneumonia that's 150 years old, and they didn't know where I got it, and nobody really even knows. It's all circumstance by failed policies that people want to uphold is all I really see. So I'm an advocate for this now because masks make you sicker. So you're sick and then you're wearing one and it keeps it right there. Like, it doesn't have any way to get out. You don't have any way to express whatever the antibodies have done to your body, and it's trying to get rid of the stuff. But then sometimes that stuff can have adverse effects when it hits the mask and then goes back into your body because you're breathing it. So, and this can happen. What happened to me with the doctor told me, the pulmonologist, it could have happened within a matter of minutes. Like, people say, "Oh, you should have changed your mask." No, this happened like I expressed a little bit, like I coughed up maybe something, a little bit of particle or something, and it just landed on the mask, and then it necrotized, just being in the air like that, and went back in. That's it. And it didn't have to like hit the mask and like embed itself. It just kind of just hit there and sat there. And so it was kind of loose, and then it necrotized a little bit and it went back in. It's all by chance. So, yep. I knew doing paint work, doing sanding all day long for 8 to 10 hours, 12-hour shifts, and you're sanding, and then you take the masks off at the end of the day, and it's nothing but the color of what you were sanding, and you're like, okay, so what does that do? Nothing. It's just stupid. Truly. To like say to people you have to use these masks when us out in the working field know that they don't work. So then you're like, oh, they'll work. Like trying to push it to people that they'll work, and it's like, no. Actually, maybe a piece of paper, a thick ass piece of paper on our fucking face, but even then, I don't even think it'll work. It was airborne, and they were too afraid to tell people that it was airborne. They wanted to go, oh, it's from person to person. Bullshit. It was airborne. It had the characteristics of being airborne the whole time. It's just they didn't want to tell people, and they still don't want to tell people. They're still trying to hide the fact that it's airborne. It's ridiculous. Like, the thing's been flying around the planet forever. And all of us psychics know it. We can all feel it. Like, come on now. So, here's the thing. Yeah, I'm an advocate for not wearing one because you might get necrotic pneumonia. Have a grand rest of your day, but this needed to be said.